What's up, guys? Welcome back to Blue Clouds TV.
All right, so hello everybody, welcome back again. What's up, beautiful people? What's up, everyone out there? Welcome back to your wonderful channel, DCM Sports. And guys, I want you guys to have to listen. We gotta get straight to it. Whatever is happening to Chelsea Football Club, time for us to get through it. We need to talk Chelsea, and that's why we're here today. Chelsea has dropped significant points, losing out in about 45% of their Premier League games, with specific reports noting that Chelsea have lost 10 points from winning possession in just the last 9 matches, more than any other football team in the Premier League. And at this moment, 10 points fewer than less, 10 points fewer than less last season at this point in time, or at this stage, making a little top four or title. The top four race also going to be very, very difficult. Why is Chelsea dropping so many points, or why are these things happening to Chelsea, especially when you get to the December Christmas time? But tonight we aren't just blaming things on bad luck. We are going deeper into the situation. We're looking at 1 billion. Only if I can talk this morning and afternoon. 1 billion transfer gamble that Chelsea have spent on players. The power struggle between Todd, Boehly and Clearlake, and why this, I would say, this supercharged Brighton model is also living testimony, also causing problem to when Chelsea are trying to copy Brighton model. Is that what they're copying? And how has it led Chelsea Football Club to where we are now? Zero leadership. And also on the pitch, we can also talk about that. Is it just about run of form, or is it just entire system that is broken? And if it is, who broke the system? I want to hear from you. Get in the chat right now. Let's put our heads together. Let's see what the problem is. Where is the problem coming from? The manager, the owners, or the players? Let's talk Chelsea. Figure out if we can turn the ship around. Stick with me as I'm here, being joined by Stevie G, who is backstage, waiting to join in here in a second, and we'll go through the whole entire problem. We have an hour, 15 minutes to go through this segment. So stick with us. We'll be right back in just a short break. Hello, Stevie G. Welcome back again, everyone. Stevie G is here with me and myself, Nate Zion. We're back here on the show again. Like I said, today's topic, we'll be looking at the general problem at Chelsea: ownership and management instability seems to take over, transfer strategy, financial issues, and also inconsistency and lack of discipline in the football page or in our football club. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Where do you think that the problem is? Where the problem is coming from? The takeover. Also, we're going to talk about it. So, Stephen G, I know you've had a topic, but before we get into it, the nitty gritty of today's segment, how are you? You all right? All right. Go ahead, Stephen. I can hear you.
Yes.
Stephen is backing up. I can barely hear Stephen G. Are you there, Stephen? I think Stephen has to get himself out and come back again. Apologize for the technical hitch there right now. Apologize, guys. But here we are. We're still discussing the problems right now. Like I said, general problems at Chelsea, the ownership management, is instability since the takeover. There, Stephen, is a transfer strategy, financial issues, the inconsistency, and lack of discipline on the football pitch. Let me before Stephen jump in, let me acknowledge the viewers and listeners in today's show. Guys, I want us to get this all together. Stick with me. And please, one more thing before we get to the middle of it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The earlier you guys drop a like on it, it sends a positive feed to the YouTube algorithm, and also YouTube will recommend the video a lot to people to join into today's segment. It's going to be very strategic. We're going down deep and look at the main problem. I will start from when the takeover came in. That's 2022, when the takeover came in till now. And why are we struggling? Is it managers, the players, or is it a power struggle between Todd, Boehly, and Clearlake? That's what we're going to look into. So there's a lot of, I would say, research being done into today's stream. So I want you guys to pay attention. We're not, if you've seen a few of my videos where I was just walking outside and expressing my views and concern about the tactical nuances or tactical things going on in the game, is because of my frustration. I'm human just like you are, and sometimes I don't like doing reviews right after game because I would say the you get angry and sometimes you may end up saying things. The reaction will not come out very well. It's just out of anger you say things that you're not supposed to say without looking at the bigger picture. But yeah, I think that I've seen a lot. I've seen enough from last season to now to be able to have a lot to say about what is going on at the football club. So now it's time for you guys to also join us as we go through step by step on today's topic. But big up to you, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer said Maresca leaves, Joe Shield and Wesley needs to go.
He said Winstanley, but Joe Shields isn't the issue. It's Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. It's not Joe Shields. Joe Shields is fine.
I know. Let me go through real quick, and then you can jump in and any reaction you want to react to any of the comments. Okay. Joe Shield out. That's from Cole Palmer. Thank you very much, Cole Palmer. Daniel Knight said, Daniel Knight says, I don't rate this squad, and quality is not good enough, and I'm getting frustrated with Enzo Maresca from rotation too much. At the rotation too much. I'm Enzo Maresca out at this moment in time. I won't blame you if you want him out. I would not be surprised if Chelsea draw a point against Everton, and would not be surprised it ends in the draw either. That's from Daniel Knight. Big up to you, Daniel. Big up to you, Daniel. Big up to Cole Palmer. We will not win the Premier League title with this model for Chelsea. That is what Daniel Knight is also saying. Mr. Proxima. Mr. Proxima. Big up to you, Mr. Proxima. I think the first time see you on the show today, Mr. Proxima. Big up to you. It says a long life. Is it? What was that, Stephen?
Long live Kagiso Rabada and Lungi Ngidi. I think I've said that last one correct.
Yeah. Maresca is not using
the squad. Just quickly, they're cricketers for South Africa.
Oh, okay. No problem. No problem. We got Stephen. You like cricket at all?
Yeah.
You a cricket guy? I've never ever.
I don't watch it all the time, but yeah, I do watch it.
All right. Copa Maramsca is not using the squad properly. He should use Santos and Estavio more and let Gusto stay in his position. Also, we can talk about what's his name again? Mark Cucurella. Cucurella did the rest. He need rest. I don't know why thinks about the positions too much. I don't know why thinks about the position too much. Did not come out very well, but I'm trying to make it sound okay. If Maramsca don't use Hato, Santos, Estavio, he will get fired by the board. Another thing that we're gonna get into. Joe Shield is the issue, Stephen.
Joe Shields doesn't buy players, guys.
He bought Tolson and he flopped. So
he doesn't buy players.
Well, Stephen, when you get there, you explain it to Cole Palmer and all the rest. When Stanley and Stewart need to go, they are not fixed. They're not fixed to run Chelsea. Giving a thumb up over there. Tilap has not stepped up, and Gittins has not stepped up either. So that Joe Shield, these are all Joe Shield signing. That is from Cole Palmer. Thank you very much, Cole Palmer. Stephen G, guys, we're gonna get into it. We don't want to waste so much time, but I'll let Stephen jump in. Then we start with the general problem at Chelsea. Stephen, jump in before we get into
First things first, Joe Shields isn't one of the sporting directors. That's Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley. They're the ones that sign the players. Joe Shields' role's a bit complicated. I think he's got an element to do with the academy and an element to do with the senior team as well, because I think his role changed. But he's not signing players. That's Winstanley and Stewart. What's getting confused here is Joe Shields and Maresca were obviously both at Manchester City, yeah? And Joe Shields has identified a lot of the Man City Academy players, like Delap and Palmer and Tosin and all these lot, right? He's identified them as players for Chelsea, right? That's where the confusion happens. All he's doing is identifying players. I could be wrong, but I think he was the one that was scouting some of like the players in like South America, so like your Estavals and stuff like that. I think he might have been involved to some degree on that. I'd need to double check. But he was at like an under 17 or under 18 tournament 1 or 2 seasons ago. And then that was around the time we heard about the Estaval news. So he's not a sporting director. Let's not get that confused, right? You've got the ownership, which is here, basically. Yeah. Under the ownership, you've obviously got different people, board members, all that. And then you've got the sporting directors. Yeah. So ownership, sporting directors, then obviously you get like your scouts, data analysts, and all that stuff. That's how the recruitment works. Joe Shields isn't one of the sporting directors. So just to clear that up, Joe Shields isn't the issue here. The issues, and we'll get deeper into it anyway, but there's issues at every level. There's issues ownership level with Boehly and Clearlake, yeah, because they're the main ownership. There's issues with the sporting directors. And yes, I'm not putting no blame on Maresca. To an element, there is blame on him. And then there is some on the players as well. Everybody has a role to play in why certain things at the club are happening or not happening. But the main point I wanted to make was Joe Shields isn't a sporting director. He's not signing the players. I just wanted to clear up that confusion.
All right, thank you very much. That's a little preview of it, but we'll get to the sporting directors aspect of it, the recruitment and players that have come in and how it has helped the team, whether it is hindering the team to progress or it is something that will work in the future. At this moment, we'll look at a few things before we get into it. Chelsea FC's problem, like I've said beginning, Chelsea FC's problem stemmed from systematic issues under its current ownership, including an outstanding management structure, a high-volume transfer strategy focused on improving young players, and persistent on financial concern related to profit, sustainability, rules, PSR, and also these factors have resulted in inconsistent performance and lack of field cohesion. Now we're going to get into it. Stephen, we will start from We will start from the head to the bottom of what is going on with Chelsea. Let's start from the ownership and management instability since the takeover from 2022 takeover from Roman Abramovich and the club experience in terms of how things have been run till now. We're gonna use 10 minutes.
Okay, so we're going top down. So we'll go ownership, then sporting directors, then manager, then players, right?
Yeah, we go to I think transfer strategy, which involves the sporting directors, how much.
Yeah, that's sort of a bridge of ownership and sporting directors and that. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, let's start from there, man.
So ownership first.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the ownership's part to blame primarily comes from Clearlake, so Boehly, because Boehly's like the most hands-on out of the two Clearlake guys, because you've got Boehly and Feliciano. It's mostly Boehly that we hear about. We don't really hear anything about Feliciano. Some people speculate Feliciano's there more on like an accounting basis, sort of looking at the money and all that side of it. So, yeah. If we look at it more as Boehly primarily, because he's like the main head of the ownership, he's the one that would have set out the model and stuff like that. I'm sure there's elements that all of them wanted the model. I think Boehly even said it as well, but Boehly also wanted experience from what we've heard as well. Yeah. Whereas it seems Boehly wants strictly young players, which is where there's an issue, right?
Right.
That obviously goes down to sporting directors. Look, this is what we want. It's up to you to sign these players that the scouts identify that fit within this bracket, shall we say, within this model. So, yeah, I mean, ownership-wise, I primarily put it on Boehly. Obviously, the first summer you can put it on Boehly, but that's a hindsight thing because... Look, we had to clear house because any connections with Roman could come back and bite us into the stuff we're getting looked at charges-wise. So they had to clear house. So we didn't have a sporting director or anything like that. So he was getting recommendations from agents and people in the football industry. And look, if you go back to the summer when they were first in and Boehly was doing the transfers, right? I think you sit there, you go, okay, Sterling's not what he was, right? But he's a good person to come in for a few years and you can sort of start with him as a foundational piece. Same with Kalidou Koulibaly and stuff like that. Experienced players, right? Hindsight, they didn't work, so people batter Boehly about it, right?
I mean, this is you can put that bracket into high turnover at the football club regarding those that were sent out and those that came in under the takeover from Abramovich to Todd Boehly. Clearly, I don't want to go into more of the players that come in, but look at the vision of these two, ownership when they took over. Todd Boehly has different vision, and also Clearlake has different vision in terms of how they want to, guide or move Chelsea going forward. And we know what Todd Boehly is doing with the Lakers, as he's part of the LA Lakers. We know what Todd Boehly is doing with the Dodgers right now, winning World Series after World Series each and every season or every year. We have they said power struggle. We got to a point in the middle and somewhere last year that Todd Boehly is trying to buy Clearlake. Clearlake is trying to buy from Todd Boehly for ownership or shares of the football club. Will these two things also affect the growth or the improvement at the football club, Stevie? Let's get a little bit into that before we get the transfer strategy. Oh, I don't think Stevie could hear me. Sorry about that.
No, I could hear you. I just had to do something. Right. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. No problem.
Guys, I'm still here. I can hear you. I just got to shut my door. That's all.
No problem. Like I've said, if we look at when the owners took over, it's not two. It's just the Clearlake and Todd Boehly. It's all about percentage-wise. Who has more? Who has power? Yeah. And what Todd Boehly does at the football club, and what Clearlake as an entity also does at the football club.
Mm-hmm. It's complicated the way it works.
Just a little bit. Elaborate on it a little bit. Then we can move on from there. We still got some few more time. on this section before we go to transfer strategy
Okay.
on the 1 billion spent and all that. What we're saying now involve just the power struggle between these two owners and the visions of the club.
So Clearlake are the majority owners, yeah? Clearlake as a company, an enterprise, all that, they're the majority owners, yeah? Remember, there's like 5 or 6 different owners at Chelsea. If you put Feliciano and Boehly as just Clearlake, you still got Hanjog, you've got Boehly, you've got... I always forget Boehly's partner from the Dodgers. I always forget his name. But he's one of our owners as well. And then I think there's 1 or 2 others. So there's a lot of people. So Clearlake have the majority as out of 100%. Clearlake have the majority out of any out of any part of it. They have the majority of the ownership, right? And the reason I'm emphasizing this is because the reports say they've got, I think it's like over 40% or something. But in terms of any singular one individual, so you take Clearlake out of that, Todd Boehly has the most. So out of just the individuals of this, Boehly, and I forget the other guy from the Dodgers, and if there's any others, I always forget it. Boehly has the most out of them lot. But overall, Clearlake have the most. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think at the moment they're playing nice. They're getting along because it's business. It's beneficial for both parties and stuff like that. But obviously we had the rumours that they wanted to buy each other out and this and that. We had the talk that Boehly could get investors to come in and buy out Clearlake and then he'd basically be the one in control. We've heard that Clearlake want more of the younger players, whereas Boehly wants a mix of young players and experienced players, which, let's face facts, I have no issue getting young players so long as you do it the Boehly way where you bring the experience in. So on that front, look, Tosin's been bad this season. No doubt, yeah? Last season, I thought he was solid. Last season, I was like, okay, he's a good option. He can help guide them. He looks all right.
Right.
The other aspect that we have to look at is there's been a lot of changes multiple times now in terms of stuff like the medical department as well. Obviously, you're going to get injuries. That goes without saying. But the guy we brought in, I think he was from England, like FA, all that. I think he was a physio or something, or sports scientist. He apparently also not just worked at the club, but he works closely with Reece James, and apparently he's a big factor why Reece James is staying fit. So that you can say, okay, like in that aspect, they're getting things right now. It was a slow start, but things are starting to get right. They've brought in, I think they brought specialists in for hamstrings because we're getting a lot of hamstring injuries and stuff like that. So they brought in specialists for that. So it seems like on the medical side, I'm not as concerned now. You're always going to get injuries. It's just about, for example, when we had Pochettino 2 seasons ago, we had like 13, 14, 15 injuries at a time. But that seems to have settled down now. We might have 4 or 5, whatever it is, right? But it's more manageable. We all remember that Tottenham game where we beat them under Pochettino at Stamford Bridge, and we had barely enough players that we needed to even include academy players in the squad because of the amount of injuries and stuff like that we had. So, yeah, there's definitely something. I think there's definitely something to this whole power struggle narrative, but I also think they're also just being professional about it. We've seen, even in the last few months, we've seen at times they've been at games together, they're talking with each other, stuff like that. So it's not like, remember there was a point where there'd only be one of them at the games, whether that was Boehly or it was Boehly and stuff like that, and the other wouldn't be there. Whether that's because they had other business to attend to or because there's this whole power struggle narrative going on or whatever, that was a situation that did happen. That is a fact. But we've seen them a few times be in and around each other at the ground, sat next to each other, communicating, stuff like that. So I don't think it's as big a deal as the media maybe make out. I think there's an element to it for sure. I don't think it's as big as the media blew it up to be, should we say.
Right. Thank you very much. As we still got 2 minutes to end this segment, I was going to say that looking at these, I would say ununified versions of both, owners. I'll say our owners with Clearlake and then Boehly. So far, we can now stand here and say, look, Clearlake's version of how they want to run the football club is not working. It's not proven. It's not working in the Premier League. It might work winning individual trophies. Yes, it's working there, but then it's not a long-term, I'll say, way that something Chelsea can benefit from right now. It is not working. Is it the manager or is it just the owners? Let's talk about Boehly's version and way of running the football and also Clearlake. Then we can move on to the financial issues of these problems, of some of these problems.
Oh, I thought you were going to put across your perspective on it then. I was waiting for you to carry on.
Like I said, I've already given you my aspect of it. And I said, before we end this segment, let's look at both vision of how they want to run the football club. Boehly wants to come in, bring in experience with blend in experience with young players to run Chelsea Football Club. But Clearlake wants to do otherwise. They want to just go strictly young. And it's showing right now at this moment that Clearlake style is not really working. And we've seen that in the Premier League, no one has ever win the Premier League with young players, but most of the time,
I think Chelsea under Mourinho first season are the youngest team to ever win the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken, by average age.
But not as young as
not as young as this. I think that team was like 24 or something, whereas this one's like 22, 23, something like that on average. Something like that. I have to delve deeper into this average age for this current team, but yeah, it's younger than what that team was, that's for sure.
Very experienced though, but very experienced in the Premier League. Very experienced player.
Yeah. But the other thing I will point out is you're saying long-term Clearlake's one wouldn't work. I disagree, right?
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm saying a long-term project, but now it's not working.
Yeah, but
it's not working.
So my thing on that is we're in the short term currently, yeah? These players, they've been here a year, 2 years, they're still young, right? So in the short term, it's not going to work. Long term, when they're like, say, I don't know, 24, 25, a lot of them, yeah? They're starting to come into their prime and they're all coming into their prime together. That's where I think you get to a point where they're talking about the whole Chelsea want to be like Man City, where they dominate for half a decade to a decade plus, because by that point, you'd use them as your experience to bring in the young players. And then you will have your mix of experience and young players. So I think in the long term, it works. We're just in like should we call it teething stages right now? You're in the early stages. So you're going to have these little teething problems and stuff like that. But yeah, just sort of quickly on that part, it's short term, it's not looking good outside of cup competitions, because for the most part, you need to be good for one-off games in cup competitions. And we can do that. On our day, if we can put our best team out, if people are fit, back us against anyone. Issue is, because of injury history and current injuries, we can't put our best team out every week. And we'll get deeper into this when we get into the manager aspect of it. But just sort of briefly breezing over it, that also falls on ownership, because some of the players do have an injury history. Okay, Fofana had one major injury, then we signed him, but they tried their best to do extra checks in America. So I can't fault them for that. It's just unfortunate. It is what it is. Hopefully, he'll move past it like Reece has. Like I said, Reece is moving past that.
One more question on that before we move on. Do football fans have patience for this model? Yes or no? Just one more, but we can move on from there.
I think it depends on the demographic, right? I think if you look at it as an overall, I think the majority would say there's no patience, right? I think if you look at it by demographic of your older fan base and your younger fan base, I think the younger fan base have more patience for it because they've not seen as much in terms of Chelsea as the older generation have. Older generation seen us been absolutely awful, seen us like second division, all that, and then they've seen us come up and we've won everything, right? Whereas the younger generation, they probably have more patience because they'll be like, okay, I can kind of see it because they want to have a young team they can then go on to dominate. So within 2-3 seasons, they're in that position to go on and dominate the league and the Champions League and all the cup competitions, right? Because they've not seen as much of, like, they've seen trophies. Let's put that out there. They've seen trophies, but they've not seen the, shall we call it, glory days of Chelsea, from where Chelsea were consistently up there every year, Champions League, Premier League, always in and around there, from when Mourinho came to even like 5 years ago. Chelsea, for the most part, have been in and around there.
2020.
Yeah.
All right, Chap. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. That's Stephen G's giving us. So we're gonna move on from there. We don't want to stay too long on one segment. Else, we're not gonna finish it. We have a period of time to run this show. And thank you very much for everyone out there, the 8 of you watching us live across our platform and YouTube. Those watching us live, thank you very much. And if you have any specific question, please do me a favor, drop it in the comment section below. Much love to everyone. Makim, big up to you, Makim, and big up to BCM Sports. Like I said, please drop your question by typing Q, follow up with questions, with your question. Thank you very much. And I got a problem with the model. Daniel, please drop your problems in the form of a question. Let's see how best we can address it for your name. I can't believe United level on point with us. Absolutely, yes. It's a shame. It's a shame, and it's very sickening to watch the way Chelsea plays football these days. I do agree with you, brother. I do, Cole Palmer. We got too many cooks at Chelsea making decisions. The football club, and big up to my man Makim. To big up me. If the player rotation were positive, fans would have an issue, or wouldn't have had an issue. Absolutely, it is true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if the squad rotation is positive, yeah, because right now we're rotating.
I think he means if we got the result, there wouldn't be an issue, right? I think that's what he means.
I agree. I agree with you. Makim, 100% on this. But guys, we don't want to waste so much time. Let's reset and start the other segment. Just 10 minutes on this segment. Transfer strategy is what we're going to talk about where we are at this moment. Chelsea has spent over 1 billion on a large number of young, experienced players on a long contract. These supercharged, as we said, Chelsea has been related or referred to the Brighton model. This approach has led to an oversized squad and a lack of established leadership and inexperienced players on the pitch. Where do you guys stand on this? Stephen, let's talk about the transfer strategy, where we talk about the number of players that came in earlier stages. Let's make it snappy on that, then we can move on to the financial issues.
I think this will definitely be snappy because we've kind of touched on it whilst talking about ownership, because obviously they set a model and stuff like that. But I think, put it this way, do you remember when we done our little experiment idea I came up with, where obviously we got the beauty of hindsight, whereas the sporting directors and the board obviously don't have that, the ownership don't have that. And we went through, okay, this is what Chelsea has spent, this is who I wouldn't sign, which means I'd spend this much less. This is who I'd get instead. This is how much I would spend. The difference between what they spent and what I would spend is this and all that, right?
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So we got the beauty of that. But I think an element of it still stands. We've touched on it already. You need to have experience in the squad. You need to have good experience in the squad. Tosin last season I thought was solid. Tosin this season hasn't been the same Tosin as what we saw last season, at least for the most part. Chalobah has been solid when he's had somebody like a Fofana next to him, yeah? But when he's had, say, Tosin next to him, he's not been as good. I think both of them have been bad, as in Tosin and Chalobah, when that partnership happens, right? So we come back to recruitment. Tosin, yes, it hasn't really worked out this season. Last season, he was solid. But I look at that and go, okay, would I not do that deal? Would I do that deal? I'd still do it, even though he's not been great for us. It's someone who has been in the professional game for a long period of time. I believe he's been a captain for Fulham as well, and it was a free transfer. So you're only paying wages and your signing bonus and agent fee and stuff like that. You're not paying an actual transfer fee to another club. Whereas you then get into the Raheem Sterling situation. Hindsight, that hasn't worked out. at the time, I think a lot of people would have been very happy with that deal. Like I said, hindsight, it hasn't worked out. At the time, it looked good. And this is where it gets complicated, right? Because you've got the first summer, which was one strategy. Yeah. Then after that, once the sporting directors came in, the model changed. We went for Enzo Fernandes in that exact same season, in that January window, who is a young player, but he's won the World Cup, right? And the model then changed to we want to focus more on younger players. And opportunity, and all this. So this is where it gets difficult. Like I said, we got the beauty of hindsight now. But I think if you look mostly at the first summer, I think you look at that, most of the deals sat there. When the deals happened, we're going, yeah, I like that deal. I like the Koulibaly deal. I like the Sterling deal. They're good foundations to build around for a few years, and then you can move them on. I think the issue comes with how much we've done just on youth. For every Estaval that you sign, yeah, you'll get someone like, what's a good example? For every Estaval you sign, you get someone like a Diego Moreira. Obviously he looks good at Strasbourg. He didn't really have an opportunity here, right? But my point being, for every deal, okay, we got him on a free as well, by the way. For every deal that works out like an Estaval looks like it's going to work out, a Moreira deal doesn't always work out. Kendry Paez might not work out. He's not necessarily having a great season at Strasbourg, whereas we got Santos. That deal looks good. He went to Strasbourg. He looked good. That was after having, 2 games for Forest in the first half of that season. So, yeah, that's sort of my view is for every Estaval, you're going to get a Moreira deal, for example. And that's just the reality. And that's the thing with experienced signings as well. Like, not every signing's going to be a hit. And we have to understand that.
Stephen, if you let me jump in if you want me to.
Yeah, go for it.
Look, the transfer strategy and what we're seeing right now. In 2010, Liverpool went through a transformation in 2010, where they were having problems with money issues. New owners took over the football club. The FSG, that is the Fenway Sports, FSG Fenway Sports Group took over Liverpool. They did similar to what Chelsea are doing now. But what they did is they went and bought Premier League experienced players. Premier League, not just outside Premier League young generation players. They brought in the likes of Sadio Mane. They brought in the likes of Virgil van Dijk. And these are players that have played already in the Premier League. That just like imagine if most of our signings have come from the Premier League, like Moses Caicedo. If you have, we've seen that it's proven that if you have Premier League experienced young players, they will help the team go a long way. We've seen Marc Cucurella coming from Brighton. Yeah, it's from the Premier League. That's a good deal. We've seen Moses Caicedo also took a season or to get better. We're yielding that profit from it, or we're yielding that result as Premier League young player, but then he's doing well. But that's what Liverpool did. But Liverpool were also able to sell those players much bigger. They sold Sadio Mane to Bayern Munich for a bigger fee. They sold Luis Diaz, also experienced player, but he was in the Premier League, but he's doing very good. They sold him to Bayern Munich for a bigger fee. Why just not doing this? Getting Premier League experience to mix up with what they have instead of going for Ajax, young generation players that are very young. They don't have much Premier League experience. Now, I feel like he doesn't have that I would say he doesn't have the trust in the bench because Cucurella, like I said, he needs the rest. If you watch our last game, this guy is missing from the game. And also João Pedro needs to be dropped. At one point, he needs to drop because he's not performing. Although he's got to go, and I will get there. We'll get to that aspect of it. Look at the manager's tactic on the pitch itself. I know a lot of you guys are waiting to get into that aspect of it. But yeah, Liverpool have gone through a similar problem, and it looks like they're doing things much better. Although it took them forever to win the Premier League, but now they're winning it it looks like every season they can go and win it. Every other season they win it instead of Chelsea, where it took them like every 3 years to win the Premier League season. They win it this year, the next year they won't win it, the following year they won't win it. They have to wait 3 more years to win it. And now it looks like it's getting to 8 years now to get a chance to win it. What's the difference between Chelsea's model and then the Liverpool one? Is it the Premier League experience or outside Premier League young generation players that we're bringing in, Stephen?
As in for Chelsea now? Are we back on Chelsea?
Okay. Compared to what Liverpool did?
I think there's an element that has to do with outside of the Premier League. I don't think that should go unnoticed. But I feel like there's certain leagues where players struggle to adapt from coming to the Premier League more. See, for example, Germany. Chelsea, for example, Werner struggled, Havertz struggled. Liverpool this summer, Wirtz is struggling. Frimpong struggling. I feel like there's a pattern there with Germany, for example, right? Obviously, there's exceptions to like Voltemard. He looks good, and he came from the German league, and you've got to have exceptions like that. Salah obviously went from Chelsea to Roma and then Liverpool. De Bruyne went to Wolfsburg and then went Wolfsburg to Man City. He looked very good. So there's always got to be exceptions, but I feel like the majority of the time players coming from Germany, for example, do struggle, right? I think, I could be wrong, I'd have to do deeper research on it. I think players from, say, the Portuguese league typically adapt better.
Yeah, they do.
And I think history kind of shows that. I don't even think it's just strictly to specific positions either. I think that's just generally across the pitch, for the most part, they do adapt.
I think it's only one manager that has failed the Premier League so far. Most of the
You think what? Sorry,
one manager so far hasn't really done well for. In the Premier League, we saw Jose did well, and who else do I remember coming from the Portuguese league? Is it Martinez, Roberto Martinez?
I don't know where he came from. I just remember the first time I ever remember Martinez was when he was at Wigan.
Yeah, he went to Wigan, went to Portsmouth, went to Everton, and he did quite a bit. He won the FA Cup.
He won the FA Cup with Wigan against Man City.
With Portsmouth, yeah. No, Wigan, Portsmouth.
No, with Wigan. I'm
Wigan,
pretty sure
right?
he was the manager when Wigan won it.
Roberto Martinez? I thought it was Portsmouth.
I'm sure he was the manager when Wigan won it. I'm sure it was.
It was under when he has Sule Muntari. During that time, and Muntari did not play under. He didn't play with him when he was at Wigan. He played when he was playing. He was with Portsmouth, if I can remember.
I'm double checking now, but I'm sure he was the manager when Wigan won it.
But anyway, we're discussing. Stephen just.
He's done Everton, Swansea, Wigan, obviously Belgium and Portugal. I don't know if they're the only ones he's done.
Oh, so he didn't do Portsmouth. Wrong thing.
No, not from what I can see.
All right, Stephen. Let's move on from the financial aspect. We're giving us props on it. The transfer strategy, which we talk about young players. We talk about blending young with experience, and both owners have different ideas. But the problem now is if these two owners can come out together with one idea, come together with one idea on how to run this football club. If Todd Boehly wants to go with some experience, then he has to focus on bringing in some experience. As we've already seen, young players, Todd Boehly needs to bring in experience to mix up with these young players going forward. I wouldn't see much of transfer that will be done this January. I wouldn't see much deals or dealings won't be done. But I reckon in the summer transfer window, there will be a lot of ins and outs whilst the World Cup build itself up. So we'll talk about the financial, Stephen. We're going to move on from the strategy. We'll move on to financial aspect of it. Let me reset my time again. We've done 12 minutes. It looks like we're using 12 minutes to cover each and every topic. All right, so we're looking at the financial issue. Despite high revenue, the club has posted significant operation loses and also is very, very heavily reliant on player sales to meet financial regulation. This has caused secretly, I would say, Premier League, UEFA over their accounting practice, such as valuation of asset sales to assist companies. So, what I'm trying to say here is Chelsea relies so much more on player sales to be able to, or will I say, is it mark their books? Is that how you say it? To be able to
Chelsea need to rely on player sales a lot, partially with the UEFA rules, and obviously we know there's new rules coming to the Premier League. There's 2 sets of rules coming to the Premier League now. So at the back end of the season, I'm sure we'll start looking into those rules and what they mean, so we can get into that then. But I think some of it, is similar to UEFA, where it'll take into account your revenue. I think I need to look deeper into it. But the UEFA one obviously factors in revenue and stuff like that. Yeah?
Yeah.
So Chelsea don't have as much revenue as an Arsenal, a Man City, a Liverpool, a Tottenham, because for one, they have bigger stadiums. Yeah. 2, another factor is you look at some of the ticket prices, and you can complain about Chelsea ticket prices all you want, but look at some of the ticket prices of those clubs.
That's not very expensive.
Arsenal's very expensive, exactly. I think Arsenal is... I could be wrong. I think United and Arsenal are the top 2 most expensive for like the average ticket price. I think it was them. I'll look deeper into it, and we can get into stuff like that another day if we talk about finances. But yeah, off the top of my head, I think Arsenal are like top 2, top 3 for like expensive tickets as in average price wise. So that's another factor, right? Their stadium size is another factor, obviously significantly bigger than Stamford Bridge. Their season ticket prices are, I think, quite significantly higher as well. Plus the fact they have more seats, they can get more season ticket holders. So it's just so many elements that mean that Chelsea have to use sales more to make up that gap in the revenue and stuff like that to enable them to meet the UEFA regulations and stuff like that.
But if Chelsea relied so much on player sales to make their quarters in terms of the season, is that not another big problem that can affect the team? Because if you have young, talented players coming out from the academy, as soon as they graduate and get into the first team, they get a couple more minutes. It means that they have to be sold to make the quarter or for the team. Is that not always the team going forward?
Not always, because as we've heard before and we've seen it proven that Colwell's still here. Obviously, Reece is still here, and I think it was Boehly that actually gave Colwell the extension. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it was Boehly that was involved with all that. The ones that are deemed like they'll be good enough, they'll be like great to sort of elite tier if we want to put players into those sort of brackets and tiers, so to speak. Those ones will stay. The ones that aren't necessarily going to be good enough are the ones that get sold on, right? So you look at it at the moment. Like I said, Reece is here, Colwell's here. Who else? George probably isn't going to make it, which is fair enough. I'm trying to think of others off the top of my head, but my brain just don't want to function today. But yeah, it's not just we're going to buy young players and sell all the Cobham lot. We're keeping the Cobham ones that are going to be good enough. The ones that aren't going to be good enough are getting sold on. I'm just trying to get the Chelsea squad up on my phone now so I can give more examples, right?
Whilst you're doing that, I've
already got it up. So, yeah, Chalobah's still here. Is he going to be here long term? Maybe, maybe not. It remains to be seen. Reece, I've touched on. Josh will make it. Josh 100% make it. He's not been sold. He could have been sold by now. Okay, he's not necessarily getting minutes, but he's like third choice right back. And then he wasn't at the start of the season one of the top 3 or 4 centre backs at the club, but I think he'll get more minutes now. I think he's kind of earned that. And based on Maresca's comments after the Leeds game, I think that goes without saying, because he said one of the things he regrets was not starting Josh. And you look at who was the most experienced player on the pitch, Tosin, and obviously we know how that game went for Tosin, for example. So I think Josh should start getting more minutes now, for example. But yeah, they're like the main ones, really. But anyone that isn't good enough will get sold on, and anyone that is deemed good enough is obviously got to stay. Because why would you sell someone to weaken yourself and strengthen somebody else when they could be something for you?
But Stephen, the best way you can get more money is to sell those that are doing much better on the page, and that will generate full profit and more revenue to the club. Let's say if you brought in and maybe Josh Champon, who is getting game time, who's doing very well compared to any other center back from the academy, and those two, maybe you might get 1,000, you might get maybe 10 million from the one that is not anywhere compared to Josh Champon, and then you get 50 to 60 million, or maybe 40 million from Josh Champon. So it means that you're gonna sell the one that has more assets, or can bring in more assets to the football club, and that
not really
good.
Because let me give you an example. Bashir Humphreys, right? It's not like they're coming straight out of the academy and getting sold. Some of them are, and they're going for lower fees. But a lot of them will go out on loan, and if they have good loans but still aren't good enough for the first team, they'll get sold. Bashir Humphreys, I think we sold for 12, 13 million in the summer.
Yeah.
If he came straight out of the academy and got sold, obviously we wouldn't have got that, right? There's an argument that he played well enough, we could have maybe got more, but I think we got a sell-on clause anyway. So down the line, if they sell him, we'll get money from that anyway. So it's little things like that, where also the factor that if you've got a good enough player coming from the academy, yeah, you're not going to sell them because you're going to sell them to just replace them anyway, when you can keep them because they're good enough, yeah? And you'll go, like I said, weaken yourself, strengthen someone else when you can keep him, and then you don't need to replace him to begin with. You don't need to get another player in that position. Prime example, yeah? Like I said, Joshua Champong. He's played right back, right centre-back, left back, and left centre-back. He's played all four across the back line in the last few months, going back to last season, yeah?
Okay.
So that is someone who's got to stay, because he's two-footed. We've seen him play at left back and use his left foot. Seen him left centre-back, use his left foot, right centre-back and right back. That's someone who is going to be beneficial to the club, not just because he can play multiple positions, but the standard that he can play on that. I mean, look at him the other day. He made, 5 blocks or something silly midweek? Sorry, midweek. 2 days ago. I'm already thinking it's the weekend. But yeah, look how many blocks he made then. If you get rid of him and you bring someone else in, they might not have been in the position to make that. So yeah, Josh will. I bet money Josh stays and he's here long term, unless something radical happens, like he gets multiple severe injuries and they have to move him on or something like that. I'd back Josh to be here, just like I'd back Reece to stay. So yeah, the ones that really will make it will stay. Lewis Hall will get rid of for about 20 million, 28 million, 30 million, and got a sell-on clause. So,
thank you very much, Stephen G. Guys, if you're joining us live, we're streaming live to 2 platforms at the same time, X and YouTube. So whichever, wherever you find yourself, thank you very much for sticking with us and also listening to the breakdown of it. What is the problem? What is Chelsea? Why is Chelsea cares during December? Why don't Chelsea perform better during the December season, especially when they get close to Christmas festivity and also Boxing Day and all that? Why don't they perform better? And there's a lot of history behind that. Still ask you guys here with us, Nick Zion and Stephen G. will take you guys through a few of them, and we'll be talking about the inconsistency and the lack of discipline and lack of discipline in the football club, including the manager himself. We'll talk about this. So, Stephen MG and Nick Zion is here over here. You're watching BlueClouds Media, BCM Sports live on YouTube and X. Stick with us. We'll be right back in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. If you're watching us on X, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The only best way you can support us on this platform, as we talk about football. If you like Chelsea, if you're a Chelsea fan, this topic is really related to your football club, history, and everything behind the problems. As we go deep into the situation and the problem, trying to give you guys our point of view and how to solve it, and what the football club need to do better to keep these young players winning and also win the Premier League again. Can they do it? We're going to talk about the inconsistency and lack of discipline. As right now, the team, Chelsea Football Club, has struggled with maintaining momentum, often following good results with poor performance. This is often attributed to the young squad and also lack of inexperienced players. Where do you stand on it? Is the manager part of it? Or is it the whole entire body? Is it the owners who are also inexperienced and also the players that they bring in? What is your take on it? Let me know in the comment section below. Keep your comments coming. Keep your questions coming. Inconsistency and lack of discipline. Steven, we got just a few minutes on this because we've been talking about this pretty much the whole season. The number of yellow cards and red cards accumulated, especially the red card. Both players are receiving red card on the pitch. That's also caused to a lot of our losses on the pitch. And also the manager himself have accumulated, I think, about a yellow card that we all say it was just nonsense of a yellow card.
When he got sent off against Liverpool.
Yeah, and how do
that was absolute BS.
Stephen G, how do we improve on these yellow card situations?
I think some of them have been unlucky. Like the Caicedo one, I think you can class as unlucky because sure, you can make the argument it's a red, you can make an argument it's a yellow, or some would use the term orange card where it's sort of borderline. But then you look at the same day as that, I think it was, there was a challenge in another game which was very similar, and the guy got a yellow card. After review, got a yellow card and not a red. Then you look at one that happened, what game was it? There was a game the other day as well where there was one from sort of behind, sort of on an angle, which was similar. Okay, it wasn't face-to-face like Caicedo's, but it was similar height, stuff like that. Didn't get sent off. So you start to question these things, and we go back to this conversation frequently. We go back to this conversation frequently about consistency of refereeing and stuff like that. There's an element of that to it as well, but I think the other element to that is just that it's a young team and you're going to get these silly cards at times, and it's one of those things. But no, that's about all I want to actually say on that. But I'll be back in a couple minutes, not even a couple minutes.
Yeah. I'll just keep you guys holding whilst we look at it. And I did talk about the problems and how we started. But would you also relate that the Roman Abramovich era and the success, things that he achieved during his time, is affecting the new owners? That could also be a problem. And I said it, the history behind the problems. The history also, if you look at the issues tracing back in the rapid way and all the way back to chaotic transition of ownership in 2022, which forced sales of the club, and then also by Roman Abramovich creating an immediate need for a new structure, which is new owners have struggled to stabilize the club. During the Roman Abramovich era, the legacy things that he made, the previous regime, he was highly successful at the football club. Also, in the significant operating losses and set precedent of high spending and frequent managerial changes, which also new owners have to continue to do the same. Because Roman Abramovich era, you cannot run the football club the way it was being run under Roma now, because Roma was just investing money into the football club without any financial accountability. Because when he goes back home and he goes to his bank, okay, what do we need? We need a striker. All right, I've heard there's a guy from Ukraine called Andriy Shevchenko. Let's go pay 50 million for Andriy Shevchenko. Bring him on board. Accountability. You have to. At that time, there was nothing like to sell a player to make.
There was no FFP and stuff at that time.
Yeah.
So you could spend whatever you wanted.
Exactly. So you can do whatever you want to do. Just like right now with the women's game, the women doesn't have FFP in their game until maybe probably like 10 years time. they could have FFP in their game. But now the women can invest as much as they can to be able to, will I say, hype the women's game or boost it up, put it in the standard that it becomes attractive. If it become attractive to everyone to watch, you get what I'm saying. So that's why you see Arsenal spending 1 million, Chelsea spending 1 million and 1 million plus and 500 and that amount of money on our ladies to make sure they get the ladies game to wherever it has to be. So yeah, that is a little bit of a 7 hours. I said something that you were not here. Would you relate that the success of Roman Abramovich era can hinder the current owners in terms of how they carry the football club? Is it one of the problems that they're facing?
I don't 100% know if I understood the question correctly, but are you saying because of how successful he was, that be like a hindrance to them?
Yeah, as successful as Roman was during his time, would that also be a problem that can hinder or that can that the new owners can also face as new Chelsea owners?
Okay, so I think from my camera's got to be on and off because of something at the moment, but I think excuse me, I think from a fan's perspective, it does, because fans always go compare. Even if these lot sell, no matter who the owner is of Chelsea Football Club, you're always going to get compared to Roman Abramovich because of what he done for Chelsea Football Club. That's always going to happen because Roman's the most successful owner of Chelsea Football Club ever. So no matter who the owner was, there's always going to be that comparison. Do you know what I mean? I think from that aspect it is, but I think from them as people from the inside, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think they're thinking about that. They're trying to do their own thing. But I think from the outside perspective of from the fan base and from rival fans and stuff like that, it's always going to be, this isn't what it used to be. Chelsea aren't what they used to be. They aren't winning trophies as consistently as they used to. Or from rival fans, it's, haha, you ain't got Roman, you aren't going to win stuff anymore, all this rubbish. Well, we've just won a thing called the Club World Cup, which your teams weren't good enough to get into. But we are still winning things. It's just got to be a gradual process for a couple of years. And then who knows? Then we might actually go and do what they hope happens, which is dominate for 5 to 10 years. Maybe longer. Who knows? But this is what I was saying earlier when we're speaking about ownership and the model. Short term, it's got to be painful. And it has been very, very painful at times. Especially the Potter and Pochettino times. And even at times last season, it looked like we weren't going to get top 4. And it was very painful because for whole first half of the season, we looked like we were blowing teams out of the water. So, yeah, I think from a fan's viewpoint, there's always going to be that comparison. And I think that is a factor from a fan's perspective. I don't think it's from Boehly or Boehly and all that. I don't think from their viewpoint it's a hindrance because they're trying to do their own thing. They're not going to go, but we haven't done this and Roman done this by this point, and like that's like a landmark point we want to get to, and we got to do it quicker. I don't think they're thinking about that. I just think it's more of a fan base viewpoint.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve. I think we are getting close. We are getting very close to achieve. We got some few more minutes to go. We've touched on a few topics. Like I said, we've talked about general problems. We're talking about general problems at Chelsea, Enzo Maresca, and now we're going to look at the previous game, our Champions League game, where we will wrap up our segment on tactical nuances or problems to the players, still the inexperience, why we're not consistently winning game, what's Enzo Maresca doing wrong in this game. That's why we are not winning our game. So we literally have about 15 more minutes to be ending this stream. And we're going to take that 15 minutes to look at that game specifically while aiming at the long-term, I would say, sustainability through young talent and, beautiful football. But thank you very much. What's the name? Aziz. Aziz, big up to you. He says Enzo Maresca is the problem. Now, Stephen, we're gonna look into what the problem is. Some tag Enzo Maresca as a problem. Some say inconsistencies from some of the players. Where do you stand on it, people? Where do you stand? Where is the problem coming from? And that is when we're gonna get into the tactical board, bringing a few what the game itself from the other day.
I'm gonna make my point quite quickly. I don't need a lot of time to make my point on it. I think if we're looking strictly at the game from the other day, the lineup I have no issues with, right? Straight away, I have no issues with the lineup. Maybe you start one player instead of the other, but I didn't really have an issue with it, and we spoke about that on the day, right? Substitutions, yeah, there was some issues there. Obviously, the Fofana subbed off, like he was struggling to see you've got to sub him off at that point, yeah? But certain other subs I wouldn't have done. I would have brought on, say, Esteban instead, for example, Andre Santos. What I will say is, Maresca did see, and I saw this quote that essentially he said, if like Fofana wasn't like injured and had that like incident with his eye, then that would have meant we'd still have one sub left because you haven't used it on Fofana getting subbed off, which meant Esteval or Andre Santos would have been subbed on instead. But at that point, I think we already had Gusto on, Reece James on, Cucurella on, Badiashile, excuse me. So you would have literally, if you put a midfielder or attacker on for a Champong, you then only have one natural centre-back. And I think that was part of the thinking there. But at the same time, you didn't need to have Gusto and Reece on. You could have moved Reece to right-back or just subbed Reece off entirely. So there's little bits there. I also do think an element is on the players. I mean, first goal is basically a free header at the back post. Our players switched off. Our players switch off at times. They're young. It happens. It's really frustrating. But I think with time, that stuff would come and it'll be all right, if that makes sense. It's just now kind of like what we're saying. The short term's going to be painful for multiple reasons. And one of those is they're young and they're going to make mistakes and things like this. So, yeah, there's parts to blame on Maresca from the other day. There's also parts to blame on the players. Players didn't take chances at times where we could have been 2-0 up. Reece was kind of unlucky with his shot. I think Enzo Fernandez had one. I can't remember whether he skied it or if it was just a bad shot or what. I can't remember. But Chelsea had chances to kill off that game. And that part of it is on the players. The subs is on the manager. I think lineup-wise, I can't really complain. But in terms of the subs that got made, obviously, you had to take Fofana. If he can't see, you can't leave the guy on the pitch because then you're in even more trouble.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Look, this is my take on that game. It's a game that it was made for Chelsea to win. If you look at the first half, Chelsea took the steam out of Atlanta. Atlanta were not anywhere near what we were doing. Enzo Maresca has having an issue since he joined Chelsea Football Club. He hasn't had a consistent game where he put up 100% out of 100%. What I'm saying is where he started very well in the first half and finished very well from the second half. Either he have a good first half and then drop off in the second half, or has a very bad first half and then pick up in the second half. He never, ever have a complete, perfect 45 minutes, a complete, perfect 45 minutes in the second half consistently. I don't say that he hasn't played perfectly very well or consistent very well in the, I would say very well in the first half and that very well in the second half. It's not consistent. Either his team is not doing well in the first half and then he goes to the dressing room, change a few things, and that's better in the second half. That's a good thing of a manager. But then you can't keep doing that. You got to be able to do your homework well. You know who you're going to play. This is how they play. And my problem is the invented win back. It's not all the time that inventing win back thing works for every team. Enzo Maresca have to know that. It works very well on the attacking based team. when you're playing the likes of Manchester City, the likes of PSG, Barcelona, that kind of a style works very well for those teams. But when you're playing a team that sits very deep, low block, have 11 men in their half or in their 18, where there's you don't have much players that are very good in that little pocket to score goals, you're wasting your time. That invasion thing is not going to help because you leave yourself much open. You defensively, you're not defending right now. You got your defenders bombing forward, leaving so much space in the back. And for how long can Mark Cucurella running back and front, behaving or playing as a striker for your team? It's not going to happen for you all the time. You're a manager, you have to be learning, and you've been there for a season. This is your second season, and you keep repeating the same mistake every season. When are you going to learn? Leicester City fans gave the similar complaint about how Enzo Maresca manages football game. And I was following Leicester City when they got promoted back to the Premier League before he left Leicester City to Chelsea. I watched their progress. They did very, very well in the earlier stage of the season. Just like I said, Enzo Maresca's season or his football managing is just like half and half, 50-50. He plays very well in the first half and goes badly in the second half. Or play badly in the first half and play well in the second half. That is Enzo Maresca. Leicester City first season, before he qualified them to the Premier League. He brought them back to the Premier League. They did very well in the first season. They went on and lost like 5 games. I am not lying to you guys. You can go back and track Leicester City progress before they got promoted back to the Premier League. They lost like 5 games in a row. I even watched the game they played against Leeds, and they lost that game. That became 5 games in a row. Enzo Maresca team lost. Mismanagement. Why did you bring in Jerry Hato? Jerry Hato could have played 40 minutes or 30 minutes in that game, so you can rest Mark Cucurella. I'm the same person that said certain players don't need to be rested. But Mark Cucurella, you could tell he is gone. His legs, he's getting weak. He's tired. Same thing with Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez, too many games, he becomes tired. You play him as an advanced midfielder, then you play him as a defensive midfielder, which you all know that he's not good defensively. Enzo Fernandez was supposed to be out of that game and bring on young legs, fresh legs like Santos to play in that role. Because everything stays on Moses Caicedo. He becomes the only defensive midfielder in that game if you're playing with Enzo Fernandez. If you play Enzo Fernandez, Moses Caicedo, it becomes one defensive midfielder. Enzo is not there because he's not good defensively. We saw that. I also feel that it was needless to take Fofana off. I have watched many games in my entire life that I can tell you. I've seen people play on the highest level with bleeding head and they bandage the head to finish 90 minutes. I've seen players bandage one arm with a bandage and finish the whole 90 minutes and play with one hand. I've seen it before. Don't tell me that little accident happened to Fofana so he can't see again. Patches one eye. Let him play with one eye. Warriors. JT became a goalkeeper because he's a warrior. He became a goalkeeper in one game. Although we got 15, 20 minutes to go, JT became a goalkeeper and did not concede a goal. We need leaders in our team. We need leaders. At one point in time, we have almost about 9 captains in our game. We have Didier Drogba, who's a captain for the Ivorian national team. We have Michael Essien, who one time became a captain for the Ghana national team. You have John Terry, who was a captain for the Three Lions. You have Michael Ballack, who was a captain for the German national team. You have Floyd Malouda, who one time became a leader horse. I don't know if he's even captain before. Solomon Kalou, assistant captain for the Ivorian national team. You have Deco in there. You have Fabregas also in there. You have a team full of captains on that team. A team full of captains. We don't have that. And I'm not saying, I know the model is different. The level is different now. But we have to see warriors on that pitch. Players that are really to sacrifice their head or their life for a 3-point or a football game. We need to see that on that pitch. That's what we're all crying for. whether this person was supposed to come. I think it was needless for Fofana to be sub off and bring in a defensive midfielder and put Reece James and Malo Gusto in the middle. What were they doing? There was no creativity. There is time. The reason why I put more blame on the Enzo Maresca is a time comes in the game where the players, if you have young players on the pitch, they don't know how to manage games. All they know is to attack, score goals. But when you have experienced players back in the day, 15 years ago, you have the Didier Drogba's, Michael Ballack's, Floyd Maluda. They know when to slow the game down, when to attack, and when not to. I've watched Premier League games a lot, and I know when they slow the games down. Fabregas, that is when you need the lights of Jorginho. You need the lights of maybe Matic to slow the game down. Keep the ball. Attack when you need to. Look at that pass. Even the women does it. The women, I saw a beautiful pass from what's the name, Chelsea's captain, Emily Bright, to what's the name again, Gully Wrighton. Nice ball. He chased the ball down. He released the ball, and then the strike, a midfielder come in. I think Hemani knocked the ball into the back of the net. Why can the men have that brain to play football like that? Women are doing it. Why are the women not doing and men not playing better football? It looks like they don't have the football knowledge. How to manage the game comes for the manager. It tells them, hey, slow the ball down, slow it down, do certain signs for them to understand. You work things out on the pitch. When it gets there, you know when to slow the game down, when to go fast, when the wingers have to bump in and get a ball and pass the ball and do all that stuff. Manager is costing us, and I've said many times the video that I made, I've given Enzo Maresca time. I've supported him. I've supported when people are going against him. And I know he will do better. But his in-game management has been very poor for a few games now. Last season we saw it. Everyone said he's learning of the game. He has to learn better, Enzo Maresca. You got to learn. Because now you're losing us. And I'm losing all that patience that I have for you, Enzo Maresca. Your in-game management is very poor and it's very bad. Santos should have been in that game. Gerard Hato should have been in that game. Players are getting tired. Rest better players. Don't rest unnecessary players that don't need any rest. I rest my case here. I've talked enough. Stephen, over to you.
No, I've not really got anything else to say. I mean, Hato would get his minutes probably against Cardiff next week. Same with that being a rest for Cucurella. I expect Enzo would get rested in that game as well. Yeah, for that game, you'd probably see something like Santos and Caicedo. But yeah, thankfully, one thing I will say, thankfully, after this weekend, Caicedo's 100% back unless he gets another red card. But this weekend's the last game of his ban, so.
All right, Chad, thank you very much. I've been ranting for a lot, so I'm frustrated. I'm a Chelsea fan, diehard Chelsea fan, and I'm just getting a bit frustrated. And yeah, we're pretty much about 3 more minutes to end our wonderful stream. The segment has been very, very intriguing and interesting. I've loved it. We've gone down to what the problems are. We've gone from the history, the financial issues, and everything that you can relate to. The December thing, why we don't perform better. And there's so many things. It's not just this time that we are not performing better. There's a history behind it. But it all has to do, this is a different, I would say different model, different Chelsea. It's not just the players. It's the manager. Some players are part of it. Defensively, if you keep changing that number of players each and every time in your game, you're not going to have that consistency. You won't. And I think if you, I know the record is there. He has made so many changes to his starting 11 than any other manager in the Premier League, especially the back four. The left back, left center back, right center back, and then the right back. He's made more changes than anybody in the Premier League. And if you keep making defensive changes, how do you get that defensive unit and that stability to be able to defend better when you don't have that understanding? Someone would say the partnership between Chalobah and Fofana is the best in the Premier League. Someone could also say maybe Chalobah and Tosin are the best. They've kept more clean sheet than the others. So we need that unit in there. They all have to do better. But I understand certain games you can reach some of these players, although they have injury. And I know the physios are the one running the football club now. They'll tell you when this player has to play. And in December, this player goes through a lot of injuries, so he can't play that many games. I understand all that. But sometimes we got to take a risk a little bit. We need that. Reece James is one of them. They're saying in December he goes through these kind of injuries, and for that he can play these certain games. He can do that, and all that kind of thing. Things got to change a little bit because we got to play these players. We got to play them. I understand injury is a problem, but we have to. We have to.
You say that, but if it's too risky to play him 2 or 3 games in a row from the start for, say, 80, 90 minutes right now, would you rather we do it and then he gets injured and then he's out for 6, 7, 8 months? I wouldn't.
No, I won't play them 80, 90 minutes. It looks like that's what he's doing with Reece James now. We all agree that instead he hasn't played, he doesn't have to play certain games. Okay. The 19 minutes.
He won't play Cardiff. He probably won't start against Everton.
Those are the games that you need him. Those are the games that you need.
Wait, he didn't start against Thing, did he? Or did he? Bournemouth?
He didn't. He didn't start against Bournemouth.
Okay, if he didn't start Bournemouth, then he'll probably start this weekend and then get rested for Cardiff.
All right. Well, big up to you, DJ Sav. DJ Sav, big up to you. And it's been a long time.
Big up, DJ. Big up, everyone. It's in chat as well.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. And big up to DJ said, is this a new platform, bro? No, it's not a new platform. It's the same platform, DJ. It's the same platform as usual. All right, Ty from Chelsea section. Big up to you, brother. I hope you're doing very well. It's just a vertical streaming and also horizontal streaming at the same time. Yeah, absolutely. This is very, very good. I love it. I'll tell you, I don't want to say everything, but I love the platform, the way they've done it. It gives you vertical version and horizontal version. So if you're on the
if you're on the shorts and you're scrolling down, you can get onto the video that way.
Yeah, you can see it from there. And I'll tell you, I've seen a few names that I've never seen on this platform before. That should tell you that it works.
It's working.
Well. Yeah, it's working.
Also, one thing I will point out is it's good that YouTube have actually made a change to improve it. Like today, because we're also doing it on shorts, our numbers have been up in the 20s and 30s for strictly YouTube, whereas sometimes that's the sort of numbers you'd get on X. So It's definitely working. There's definitely got to be new people coming in. So, look, I don't normally give YouTube credit, but for making a change where you can have like a stream vertical and also have it in your normal YouTube format as well, either or. Yeah. Big respect. Big up DJ, Lord Vapor Nation, everyone in chat.
Long time, Lord Vapor Nation. Long time no hear and no see. It says Chelsea's finish, Enzo Maresca out. I'm just that close. I have a little more time for him because he is costing a lot of our games. In-game management has been a problem from Enzo Maresca for a while now. I'm that close to let him go. I'll say Enzo Maresca out. I'm just that close. We need an experienced manager, someone who can manage the game very well. These players are not bad. They are good players, but they have to learn how to manage a game, and that is coming from Enzo Maresca. You were leading that game. You threw the game away. 1-0. First half, the players, Atlanta were nowhere near our performance. But you threw the game away. Useless or unnecessary changes. Playing players out of position. Inverting wingbacks. Inverting players in the midfield when it doesn't work for every team you play. You should know that. Low blocks, it doesn't work for them. Those inverting crap that he's doing, it doesn't work for this low block. He's been doing this for last season. It never worked when we're playing against these low blocks. Stop doing that crap. Play the players on the rightful position. And Gusto is not a defensive midfielder. Bro, what are you doing now? What are you doing? Are you overthinking? Are you overcomplicating things? Are you overthinking? Are you doing Pep Guardiola Chelsea 2001 Champions League final? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing now, bro? Enzo Maresca, I respect you a lot, bro. You got to do the right thing. You should know better. Malo Gusto is not a defensive midfielder, and James is not a defensive midfielder. If it does well for certain games, it doesn't mean it's going to work for every game you play, Enzo Maresca. You got to listen and learn. All right, DJ said, big up, Steven. Hope you're well, bro. It's just you and I think and you and me and everyone in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Get what DJ is saying. Daniel said, if Enzo Maresca gets sacked, who would you like as the next manager? Look, I'll just look, for me, I know Fabregas hasn't got that experience on that high level, but he's doing well. If you look at his understanding of football, the way he explains football, he will do much better than what do you call it, Enzo Maresca is doing. Fabregas did say something. I can't remember. Maybe Steven can even help me out with that quote. He said something about risking something for 3 points. I'm trying to see if I can remember. If he has to go for 3 points, either defensively or attack or something like that. I can't remember that quote. Steve, do you remember that quote?
No, but one I do remember is there's a quote from the president of Como. Remember, Fabregas is also like a shareholder or owner of Como as well as the manager, yeah? There was a quote and he was speaking about data and stuff like that. And I think the quote was something to do with, like, there's nothing wrong with using data, but sometimes, like, data doesn't tell the whole story. And I think an example he used was Fabregas, I think, had spoken to him and said, like, sometimes a player's not being played the right way and stuff like this, and sometimes they're not in the right role. And I think the example he gave was, I think they signed a winger and moved him to central midfield, and now he's like one of the best midfielders in the league or something, I think it was. So they were basically saying there's nothing wrong with data, but sometimes it doesn't tell you the whole story. And sometimes there's little things that could change. I'll have to try and find that quote again so I can get it accurate, but I can't remember the quote you're on about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll try and see if I can find it. I have a video. It was a video that he did said that. It was in the video. Let me see if I can find it whilst we're here.
No, me, I probably sent it a week or two ago and completely forgot that I've sent it.
Daniel Knight said, I want an elite manager who can bring in that winning mentality. Who can bring that? I wouldn't mind going for Frank Lampard or Thomas Tuchel. If Tuchel leave the English national team, I wouldn't mind going back for him. I wouldn't mind. He has that winning mentality. I wouldn't mind going. And I don't want a manager who will be complicating football. Football is simple. It's been played simple. Put the right players in the right position. You win the football game.
Do you know the other thing? Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
DJ Sapp said, what do you both make of Estavio was not happy with? Yeah, I have the video there being left out that match against Atlanta. I think the video reaction is he was not happy when we considered our goal. I don't think he has.
I think it's probably being blown out of proportion. It's probably something unrelated to that.
Yes, I have that video here. He was upset because we considered that goal. He wasn't upset because they didn't put him on.
Or we missed a chance or something because he was warming up and then he went like that or something, didn't he?
Yeah, that was when the goal we considered that goal, and he didn't walk in and did that. He did that like he was just throwing. He was just frustrated. It wasn't frustrating about him not being on the pitch, but that game he did, DJ. It needed Estavio Williams. I don't know what this man is thinking. Man is thinking, DJ. Yeah.
Do you know what else though?
Right.
You say about Fabregas, yeah?
Yeah.
If you put on a table in front of me, yeah? Mm-hmm. Right now, even though I'd say both of them still need time to develop, Rossinha needs less time than Fabregas. He's been a manager longer and stuff like that, right? If you put on the table in front of me now, Rossinha or Fabregas, I'm going Rossinha. He's got more experience as a manager. Yeah, for sure. And whilst I still think he needs that development, like you've seen, like I've sent you videos like his team talks and stuff, and like even from when he was at Hull or even at Strasbourg, obviously there's like subtitles, all that. His team talks are really good. Like he knows, you could see he knows how to motivate the players and stuff like that. I think there was one where like they made a mistake. It's like, okay, we made a mistake. We like there's time, we can fix it. I think there was something to that degree as well. Like, he knows... Rossinho, from what I remember, was a player as well, yeah? If I'm not mistaken. But, a while ago.
Yeah.
So, him and Fabregas both have that aspect of... They know the type of stuff that goes on within a player's head. They understand the player side as well. I mean, Maresca was a player as well. Maresca won things as a player as well. But not some of them can't always translate it to being a manager, and if that makes sense. Like, some of them are just really good at articulating their point, getting it across and stuff like that. Whereas others maybe struggle. But yeah, I think Rossinho still needs time, but I think the plan, if I'm looking at it from an outside perspective, not a Chelsea fan's perspective or anything like that, right? If I'm looking at it, I'm going, you've got Rossinho. You've extended him at Strasbourg, yeah? You've obviously done it because you trust him and you believe in him. My mind's going, who is the most likely candidate to replace Maresca if Maresca goes? It's got to be Rossinho, right? He's already been within that model. And I think I sent you a graphic from last season where he played about 14 or 13, something stupid, like high number. I think it was double-digit variations of different formations and stuff like that in different games against different opposition, PSG, Marseille, Nice, Rennes, all that. So he's got the tactical flexibility aspect. Like, I think, I could be wrong, it might have been him or it might have been someone else, said, like, your formation and stuff can change, but your principles don't have to change. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You can change your formation, but your principles of we want to keep possession and play this certain style of football could be the same. It's just you're positioning the players to allow you the space to play that style, if that makes sense.
All right, guys, this is where we're going to wrap up. We're going to be on our streaming time. It's supposed to be an hour, 20 minutes. We've gone to an hour, 31 right now. So, DJ Sub, thank you very much for your comment. He said, we have a good manager. He just needs to stop overthinking and stop making too many changes in the team, like up to team lineup. He says so that is 182 changes in total. In total, when picking squad for highest than any other team in the Premier League right now. Thank you very much, DJ Sab, for that comment. Hopefully next time, if I find that quote, I will share that quote because I'm going through X right now and I can't find it. But we end the show, we end the stream today. Nate Zion and Stephen G wants to thank you guys all for coming on and sharing this platform with us. And having your time is not an easy thing because everyone is very, very busy out there and, things that people got to do. I want to thank you all for joining us on the show today. I always, Stephen, want to say something before?
All I want to say, big up to everyone in chat, Chelsea Sessions, DJ, Mackin, Daniel, and anyone I've missed. Big up to everyone that's been there. Big up to anyone new that's probably watching right now. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. We know that there'd be new people watching today because it's on the shorts form and stuff like that. So if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button, turn bell notifications on as well. And it's been a good stream. It was like we always try to be informative and stuff like that, as we touch on finance aspect and why it's difficult for Chelsea and who's to blame for what, why are they to blame, and we've looked at every level from ownership down to manager and players. We're not just scapegoating one party. We're not just going, it's just owners, it's just sporting directors, it's just manager. Because everyone has a role to play in why Chelsea are having issues that they're having. So that's all I wanted to say, sort of a summary of what happened and to sort of say big up to everyone that's in chat and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that's all I've got to say.
Thank you very much, Stephen G, and thank you very much, our viewers and listeners out there. Just like Stephen said, we did touch problems that's really related to Chelsea at this moment and why. They're going through what they're going through. We did want to talk about the ownership and management instability since the takeover from Roman Abramovich. We also talk about the transfer strategy. Also, and is that also a problem to the football club, which we all know? Also, we also talk about the financial issues on how young players are being sold to the football club from the football club. Also, a big problem. And also, we talk about for them to balance the book, they have to sell young players, which we think is not a good thing, but that is football for now. And also, the inconsistency, the lack of discipline in the football team. So that is what we did and talk about today. DJ said that peace, guys, in the chat. Smash the like button, subscribe. If you haven't, send the link, and then when you're streaming, big up, and then at Kopama. All right, DJ. Like I said, I know you guys are very, very busy and family issues, so I don't want to be bugging you guys and running after, you wonderful guys to come on all the time. I know when you're free, I'll get you, but I don't know. Let me know your free time, and I'll send you a link to come on, and then we can have a proper discussion. I hear your views, and you also hear my views, and then we move on like we've been doing all the time. But thank you all, Lil Desbrandons, like I always say.
Hang on, Toe.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys again same time tomorrow. Knees down, STVG, we're out.
You are a winner. Stand tall, be proud. In the face of doubt, you shout it loud. Feel the strength, let it in. With every step, you're gonna win. You are a winner, feel no pain. You are a winner, feel no pain. Yeah, I woke up feeling like a champion. Every move I make, I got the stamina. Eyes on the prize, never lose sight. Grinding every day, pushing through the night. Got the fire in my soul, never back down. In the ring of life, I'm the one with the crown. Sweat and tears, yeah, I paid the cost. Every battle fought, I'm never lost. Hit the floor.